Well, hello, friends. It's Ross Braun, your host of the Positivity Wins podcast. I want to say thank you for tuning in. I can't believe it. Well, we are already on episode 10. If this is your first time joining, I want to say welcome. Thank you for tuning in. What's this all about? Well, Positivity Wins was created for people just like you in all walks of life to give you real strategies, positivity, stories, and just let you know that you are not walking in this journey of life alone. There are others that are going through the same things that you are going through. And like I say, in every episode, we need more positivity in our lives, in our communities, our workplaces, our families, and this is what Positivity Wins is all about. If you are a veteran and this is your 10th episode, you've listened to every single one, I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart. It means so much to me. So many people have just been reaching out, liking, sharing, talking about the posts, the blogs as well. And speaking of blogs, if you're not a podcast person, get out of here. Go to my website, themrbraun.com, where you can read a blog all about today's topic. And what is today's topic? I'm fired up for this one because today's topic is a huge passion of mine. If you know anything about me, you know that leadership is who I am to the core of what I live for, what I preach, what I breathe, and not just title leadership. Okay. So don't take off running here because I firmly believe that leadership is for all of us. We are leading something in our lives. It may just be ourselves right now, but you're in charge of yourself. That makes you a leader for yourself. And so today's topic is all about impact leadership or going from impact to legacy. And we'll dive more into what that means. But simply put, the goal of leadership isn't success, it's significance. You can't say that you are a leader because you have checked off these boxes, because you have secured this title, or you have had this much success. Real leaders can say they are a leader because of the amount of people they have positively made an impact on in their lives. Now, that is leadership, and that's what we're diving into today. And so if this is your first time joining, you know that I'm a former coach, forever educator, but I like to work through a playbook. And so we're going to go through our playbook here on the Positivity Wins podcast. And it always starts with a positive story. And today's a little different because I want to share the positive story as we dive into the topics. Usually I have something here that everybody just feels good listening to. You're going to feel good listening, hearing this positive story, but you're just going to have to wait a little bit for it. So let's dive in here. Today's topic is all about impact to legacy, leadership making a difference in others, not just what you do, not the check boxes that you mark off, the success that you have, but what you do for others. And so we're going to go through 5 different subtopics today: impact versus legacy, the ripple effect, the power of small moments, leading beyond your title, and then a reflection at the end. So let's get to it. Impact versus legacy. That's our first subtopic. And what this is all about is talking about the difference between success and legacy. So what is success? Success is reaching our goals. Success is how much money can I make? Success is what titles can I achieve? Climbing that ladder. How far can I get up the ladder? Success looks different for everybody. But legacy is measured on what you give, how you make others feel, the positive impact that you make in a community and a society. That's your legacy. So success, that can be taken away at any given moment. But legacy, you can't take that away. You've already given it to others. That's the difference. And that's the type of leadership we're going to talk about today. And again, this is for everybody. You don't have to have a title. You don't have to reach some status to be talking about legacy and the impact that you make on others. Every single person in the world has the opportunity to make a positive impact on another human being. That's not leadership. That's just living. but living is all part of leadership. I could talk about this all day. So positions in, titles change, your life is constantly revolving. Like I said, all of that can be ripped away, can end tomorrow. But what doesn't is how you make people feel. That stays forever. And so I call this the North Star. If you've ever heard me speak at a conference or at a school, then you probably have heard me talk about this, your North Star. For me personally, those of you that know me, my life has revolved a lot. I started out as a substitute teacher. I blinked twice. I was a principal. Now I'm the vice president for a national company. I work every single day with leaders across the country. Why am I doing this? Why did I change these roles? And it all comes down to my North Star to positively make an impact on others. When I was just starting out as an educator, when I decided to go into education, my North Star was to positively make an impact on young boys who did not have a father figure or a male role model in their lives. That was it. That was my North Star. And now my North Star is the exact same, but it's grown because I want to make a positive impact on as many other humans as I possibly can. Yes, I'm still geared towards those young males that just have no one in their life that they can look up to. Absolutely. That'll always be there as a North Star. But now I've seen that I can speak to leaders across the country. If I speak to a room full of 100 principals, then that's not just 100 principals. That is 100 principals that are going back into a school of 500. I'm not great at math to do that. 100 principals times 500 students. That's the type of impact that I want to make. And that's my North Star. That's why I do what I do. Next topic is the ripple effect. So, leadership, it isn't just about this one moment. You know, I'm going to go in and I'm going to give the best speech at the start of the school year or start quarter two. We're going to knock it out of the park. That's leadership for me. Yes, that is a part of leadership. But leadership is bigger than that. It's the small moments, which we're going to talk about in a moment. But leadership is how you make others feel that, and then they go on and they make others feel that way too. It's just like throwing a stone into the lake or into the river. What happens? Plop, and then you see the ripples go out from that stone's throw. That's the type of impact that you want to have. One person, then they go out and have that effect on others. Just like just said, when I go speak at a conference to 100 principals, it's the ripple effect for me. It's not just me speaking to one or two people, it's me speaking to 50,000 students, 10,000 students that could potentially be positively impacted from what I had to say in that 60-minute session. So, this is encouragement. Daily conversations. How are you encouraging and lifting up others? How are you making them believe in themselves? Because we can't go out and have impact on others if we're not right here. If we don't have that belief in ourselves, how are we going to go out and tell others to believe in themselves? And so this is you going and saying, hey, I believe in you. You can do this work. And when they have that confidence, all of a sudden it multiplies. Because when we start spreading positivity in our schools, our workplaces, our communities, all of a sudden those organizations become positive places. And when positivity spreads, all of a sudden success starts to spread. I've never seen a successful organization, team, school that's filled with negativity, that has a terrible culture. Seattle Seahawks, Indiana Hoosiers, all these teams that just won national championships, their culture's right. There's positivity in the locker rooms. They're talking highly about one another when that other person isn't around. You see the difference? Your presence, it echoes beyond the room that you're in because those people go out. Man, that person was talking to me. I wasn't even in the room. You know what? I'm going to go out and talk about them. I'm going to go talk about two other teammates or coworkers because I want to share their story just like that leader shared my story. That's the ripple effect. And so our next subtopic is the power of small moments. And here you go. I told you had to wait a little bit for your positive story today. And here it comes. Small moments. For me as a principal, I know some people didn't see this, that I was leading some people maybe in the community, didn't think that me being out in the hallways constantly in the cafeterias, greeting students every day at the buses was important. But to me, it was the thing because that is where the small moments happen. Let me tell you this positive story. A couple years after I left my principalship, okay? This is years later. I had a former student who was elementary when I was a principal. He actually found my wife at the elementary and gave her this letter and said, "Take this home to Mr. Braun." And she didn't open it. I got home. She got home and gave it to me. I opened it up and tears immediately started coming down because this is how the letter went. He said, "Mr. Braun, I miss you." That started it. "You believed in me when no one else did." More tears. He said that when I was in elementary, it was not a good time in my life. Things were tough at home, but I knew every morning you would be there when I got off the bus with a fist bump. He went on to talk a little bit more about what he was doing in then junior high, going into high school, what he wanted to do with his life. But that first paragraph, man, that was it for me. Those are the small moments. Me giving this one student a fist bump every single morning when he got off the bus was just me connecting with students as they came in, right? Checking the pulse of the building, see how our day was going to go. But to him, it was everything. It was the light that he needed to start his day. I may have been the first that spoke to him, that connected with him. You have that opportunity too. You say, "Well, I'm not a school teacher. I'm not a principal. I can't do that." Do it in your office. Do it in your community. Do it in the little league teams that you coach. You have the potential to make someone's day, to change the trajectory of their life. Don't underestimate that because the little things, not so little. They may seem little to you, but to others, it's a big deal. It's what they look forward to each and every day. Because leadership, it's not built on those daily moments. Leadership, no big fancy grand gestures. It's just showing up consistently each and every day for the people that you lead and the people that you serve. And that leads us into leading beyond your title because your title does not define your impact. You could say, only an assistant principal. If I could just be a principal, then I would have so much more impact. I'm just a teacher. I think I want to go into administration because I want to have more impact. That's not the case. Take it from me. I truly felt there were times I had more impact when I was teaching and coaching than as a principal. You have just as much potential to make a positive impact on others, regardless of the position that you're in. Like I said, it's about consistency, showing up in the position that you're in, where you are, the stage of life that you're in, showing up each and every day for others. Because you don't have to be in charge to make an impact. And you don't need permission to lead from the heart. Legacy impact, what we're talking about today, is going to outlive any role that you could stay in. You could say, "I'm going to retire when I'm 80," and your impact's going to go way beyond that. I I recently had Jonathan Alzheimer on my School Life Series podcast. Shameless plug here. If you're an educator, go check out the School Life Series podcast. It is incredible. We're in season 4, and there are so many great episodes. But Jonathan talked about someone in his life who was really successful, like multi-millionaire success. And he had this conversation with Jonathan as he was teaching. He's like, "I was in my first year teaching. I was making pennies on the dollar. I'm in this guy's mansion, decked out." And he was jealous of his role because he said that even though he had all this success and had all this money, he didn't feel like he made a positive impact on others like Jonathan was doing each and every day in the classroom. He said, "If I died tomorrow, no one would remember me like they're going to remember you. for years to come. Don't be that guy. You can have success. I hope you make millions, but do it by leading and showing others their true potential, making an impact on others. That's legacy. And I want you to have that legacy long after you're gone. And so our last subtopic here is more just a reflection. I've got a few questions for you when we talk about impact and legacy leadership. So the first question is, I want you to go write it down because I want you to spend some more time on it. But the first reflection question is, what will people remember about how I led, regardless of the role, about how I led my life and the teams that I coached, the schools that I led, the classrooms that I led, the teams that I led in my workplace, or just how I led my family. Number two, next question, again, jot it down, put it in your notes. You can reflect on this later. Who am I intentionally investing in right now? For some of you, you may say it's my kids. For me, I say that my three children are who I'm investing the heaviest in right now because their ages we will never get back. They need strong leadership, strong parenting, and just love in their lives right now. Truthfully, it was the biggest factors that led me into my role, stepping out of the principalship, was the opportunity to pour into my own kids in these pivotal years in their life. Enough about me. Number three, what values do I want others to carry forward because of me? I'll tell you this, as you reflect on those few questions right now and into hopefully after you are finished with this podcast, maybe tomorrow, whenever you have a moment to really reflect, this impact does not happen by accident. I've said this time and time again on this show. I say it all the time in my life, intentionality. You have to be intentional in your actions to have the type of impact and legacy that we talk about today. And so at the end of the day, yes, this is leadership. We talk about leadership a lot and positivity wins, but in reality, it's really just living. Matthew McConaughey says LIVIN, just living. This is it. Being the kind of friend, neighbor, coworker, and just person who wants to make a positive impact on other human beings. That is positivity wins. That's what I want for you, your family, your community, everywhere that you go. I want you to make a positive impact on others because they need it. You never know what that person is going through. And just a high five, a fist bump, how you doing, hug, whatever it may be the moment that they'll remember for years to come. And so as we finish up on this episode, we got our power move and the final buzzer. The power move is 30 days. What do you mean by 30 days? I want you to pick one value, kindness, integrity, caring, something in your life. You can say, yeah, like I usually gravitate towards that one value. I want you to pick it. Or you could go opposite and say there's a value that you need to work on. And you could pick that one as well, depending on how you want to look at it. But I want you to focus on that value and just live it big. Live it tremendously big and loud for the next 30 days. I'm talking about journal it. I'm talking about talk about it. I'm talking about share it with others, whatever it may be, but live that one value super big for the next 30 days and intentionally pour that value into everybody you come in contact with. Sometimes you're going to see that you're going to be like, wow, I did this for someone else and it's going to feel really good. But you be aware that you may not get feedback or results for months or years to come. Someone's going to stop you and say, hey, I'm a lot more caring because of the conversations you had to me. Bingo. That's the ripple effect that we talked about earlier. And then our final buzzer today is just a reminder that leadership is a long game. Just like I said, leaders, you don't get to see your harvest at the end of each season. Sometimes your harvest comes years down the road when you're in the grocery store and you hear your name from the end of the aisle. And that person comes up and shares their story with you, introduce you to their spouse and their kids, and talk about their career. That is leadership. And that's the impact, the potential that you have to make. Never underestimate that one conversation. You know, how as teachers and as educators, so many times we have former students come back and say, "Do you remember that one conversation that we had in the hallway or the gymnasium or in your class on a Friday in September?" And you don't, but to them, it was everything. One moment, one connection, those small moments can have really, really big impact on other people. Others, they're going to forget what you said. You know, like I said, they may remember the conversation. They don't remember every single word. But what they'll remember most about that conversation is how you made them feel. And that's impact to legacy, legacy leadership that we need so badly in our schools, in our communities, in our everyday lives. And that's what I want you to take with you today. So thank you again for tuning in to episode 10 of the Positivity Wins podcast. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you can't tell, I was fired up because this is what it's all about. This is Positivity Wins. This is our community that we're building. Go out and make a difference in other people's lives, not just yours. Yeah, we want your life to be better because of this, but it's going out and making impact in others. So like, share, tell your friends about this episode, or just start living it each and every day. I'm good with that. Until next time, when positivity wins, we all win.